Yo guys, what is up? It is your Steiny and welcome to finally another League Racing video. We are on F1 2022 and we are racing in CRL Season 7 race. I think it is race number 8 and in Tier 1 of course as a reserve driver. I had a 6 months break and this is my very first league race after 2 weeks. I've been playing this game for 2 weeks and now this is my very first race, so don't judge me, sit back, get your popcorn, your drinks and enjoy.
It's rain. It's all the way rain.
Oh
Even the race, it's just all rain.
my god. As you can see as well, we do have a very interesting race coming up because the rain, the weather is going to be very tricky. We have wet qualifying plus a dry start and it is changing to wet quite quickly. That means we have to be extremely careful. We need to stay out at the beginning of the race very long. But first, before we jump into the race, a very warm welcome to everybody who might be new to my channel. If I can introduce myself shortly, my name is Luca, aka Steiny, IRT Steiny. I joined the International Racing team just before I had to go into a half a year break, and now this is my comeback and this game feels good for me compared to the game before. I feel quite good, I feel more connected. It goes a little bit more into sim direction, but it has so many issues, as you will see, and I have experienced at my very first race, my very first league race, which is here on Singapore. But enough from me, and let's focus on the actual racing. You can see that I'm just driving around in wet condition. We have had one quick lap actually just to get into a rhythm, because I've never done a wet race around this track. I haven't even done wet practice. However, I really enjoyed practicing for my league races in wet condition, always on the old game. So here we have a situation where I am improving by 1.6 seconds even without having ERS, and it's drying up quickly. So yeah, boom, here myself, we decided to actually it is best for us to go into the pit, and I am making a very late call because we have 8 minutes left. I wouldn't be able to make it around the track one more time and get back into the pit, and I didn't want to risk anything, so decision was going back into the pit and resetting. And resetting we do. We have 4 minutes 50 seconds left on the clock for this qualifying sessions. You have 18 minutes time, and now it is time for us to actually proper push and improve our lap time. Let's see what we can do. I am racing for IRT, as I've mentioned before, and IRT Tigriff. He's also a part of part of the team, and yeah, some people like to push a little bit too much, as you experience here.
What a bottle.
Indeed, bottle, indeed for Tigriff. Unfortunately, he crashed out and he's not allowed to improve his lap time anymore. I have done one quick lap already. You can see the green time plus minus 3.9 seconds at 1 minute 50.452. Let's see if we can push it even further to improve our time and improve our standing and starting position just tiny bit more. Currently we are P11, as you can see on the left hand side, and we are improving some time. We are already 2.5 tenths slightly up, when the qualifying session has just informed us that this is our last try. Qualifying has been completed, so we are allowed to finish this lap and trying to improve. We are 4 tenths up already. Let's see if we can put it actually down all the way to the end of the track. Let's put it down on the clock. My teammate, I think he's pronounced Itzakush, the other Haas driver, just put on a 1:48 something, which is actually really quick, and with a lot of practice we might have been able to reach it, but this was the first wet condition session for me, and I'm happy with what I have achieved. The cars who are not on the first lap, they have to give space, they have to drive on the side of the racing line, which every driver here in the session is doing as well, but we are losing so much time. On the right hand side you can see the difference to the previous lap, and if it's green and minus, that means that we are quicker. If it's red and plus, that means that we are slower. To all the people who might be a bit newer to Formula 1, this is how close the margin is, and we are just 1.5 tenths quicker, just down to 1 tenth quicker. Can we actually improve it? And yes, we can, but only 1 tenth. That means we lost 3 tenths. But our starting position is P11, just about ahead of our IIT teammate and friend Bumpje.
Some people are starting mediums, P17, but I don't think it's gonna.
That's not interesting. That's not
Josh is. It's gonna be a stretch to make it to the rain. Mediums. That's formation.
Why am I nervous?
Because you got me alongside you.
No, that's not the reason. This should be comforting me. Oh, you disqualified already. Oh,
that was
Pyro. What did we talk about before? Alright, there's a lot of chaos already going on. It is only the formation lab. The goal is not to touch anybody, because otherwise you will be resetted on track and you will not be able and allowed to warm your tires, which is the main goal of the formation lab. You can see on the right hand side we are trying to warm up the tires. 90 degrees is the perfect temperature, and I'm quite far off, so I have to really improve on this formation lab. And yeah, and we will see if we'll be able to get a good start for the race. Bumpje is alongside us, and yeah, as I've mentioned before, as you might have heard, I was quite nervous going into this race, because this was the very first league race after a long break. And yeah, let's see how it goes. Every single car is lining up on the grid. We're starting P11 out of, I think, 20 drivers. We had a full grid. Let's see how we do. It is lights on, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and it's lights off. Away we go, and we're getting a good start, but the second phase of the start is quite slow. Bumpje is already alongside us. We're braking very late, going alongside with the car ahead, having to avoid him. Bumpje is trying to go in the inside, but giving us enough space. Heads up as well to him. We just want to survive the first lap here, as relentless Jeroen didn't, because he spun and he's already a very back of the train. My main goal was just to survive, settle in, don't get any damage, and then we can push if we get the confidence, because the car feels so different at the start. It has full fuel tank, it is very heavy. As you can see, it's harder to turn, but it's easier to lose the traction, so it's very risky, and everybody is on the same tires as well. The hard compound tire doesn't give you a lot of grip, which compared to the other tires, the medium and the soft tires, and we're just trying to settle in here into this race. Currently P10 made up 1 position because of a spin, which is quite convenient for us, unfortunate for the relentless driver, but let's see what we can make out of this race. And there's a lot happening, as I mentioned before. Stick to the end, and then, because I have a reference as well during the race, and I want to see who and how many true Formula 1 fans we have in this video, and let me know down in the comments if you if you know the comment that we'll make. But about this more later on. We are trying to push the car ahead, the Alpha Tauri, around the track. Maybe he will make a mistake, maybe we have the chance to get around him, and we're getting quite close. We are only 3/10 behind him without using any ERS, which is quite good. It's a good pace, good settling in. I'm finding a little bit more confidence. I can get a little bit more closer to the car ahead. Be careful of locking up because we have no assists on. The only assist that we have on is the racing line. We have no ABS, so the tires can lock up if we brake and turn too much. We need to be careful if you pay attention to the throttle and the braking input, as well as no traction control, so it's very, very tricky. But here is one of the toughest part of the track. I can see that he's going wide, and I was trying to push, but I actually spun, which is not very good. I was able to do a 360 to face straight away ahead, but we lost a lot of positions, and T-Roof is actually going around the inside of this turn. You can see it on the red arrow, but decided not to fight too much, and we are just keeping the position at the moment all the way back in P18 out of 20 drivers. So not a great start, but it gets very, very interesting towards the end. Now, after we have settled down, we can push and attack each turn a little bit more. DRS is now enabled since we are on lap 3. Jumping ahead now to lap number 4. We are already a little bit closer to Leroy. He's making small mistakes. You can see some lockups, and we have the first retirement. IRT Renz unfortunately did retire, and we have a relentless Jeroen once again spawning once again at the very back of the grid. It's very, very unfortunate for him. He was maybe pushing a little bit too much, and we have Pyro as well now out of the race. As you can see on the left hand side, he crashed into the wall, lost his tire, was only on 3 tires left, and that means we have a full car, a full track safety car. Everyone will be put together. People have the opportunity to pit, but not many people are actually going in unless you have damage. Let's see if anyone is going into the pit, and yes, actually there are a few on the left hand side. You can see them just getting passed through the order because they take the opportunity and the advantage of fresh tires and not losing too much time. But now as well, a little bit more detailed and visualized about the people who pitted. We got P13, 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18 pitted. Red Sea is on medium, Jeroen is on medium, everyone else behind is on hard now. So you can see we have 6 people behind who are on fresh tires.
Just over 10 minutes rain.
And also we have just about 10 minutes until the rain is coming. After safety car, once again we have to warm up the tires, which we did not quite do very well. We have 76 degrees core temperature on the rears, which is quite cold, and T-Griff is doing an attack. We're going semi-defensive, and T-Griff is braking so late, and unfortunately Leroy is avoiding the collision with our IRT teammate. Tigre is going side by side with us into this next turn. I think it is turn 4, just going slightly over the curb, unsettling the car. We have to catch it, and that means that we give our Haas teammate the opportunity to go around the outside of the next turn. Luckily we didn't go into 3 wide, that would have been chaotic, and everyone behind is just on fresh tires, which gives you much more traction and you can feel it. The next moment is controversial. I'm just gonna give you the time to enjoy it. Mate. My god. Everyone is just fucking diving. It's annoying. Like 3 wide in 1 turn, don't give a fuck. Yeah, as you can hear, I was very unhappy about it. I did report it as well, because it was very heated for me. They tried to go 3 wide into this turn, but nothing happened. It was very hard racing. I would have never tried this move, and I've told the driver as well. But as you can see on the right hand side, we have actually IRT Bumpy, our dear friend, who crashed out. He just slightly tapped the wall and he lost a tire, and of course a car cannot drive with 3 wheels. That means he's out of the session. But we did not get a safety car, so it's a little bit inconsistent, these things. And we have another spinner as well, IRT Tigriff, another IRT member, having troubles on this track, and now we have the opportunity to fight against Leroy. We are so close. His light is flashing, which means he's under 10% ERS, which is his electro engine. We are getting a very good exit, getting DRS, which is our rear wing, to open it up, and we are going around the outside on the right hand side. Need to brake very late, as well as he does. He's locking up as well, I think, and he's pushing us very wide, trying to defend his position, and he's doing a switchback. We are just braking too much and turning in too much as well, which means that we are locking up, and this is not the way that you're supposed to take a turn. We end up in front of Tigriff. Tigriff had another situation where he lost some control, and he's now a little bit further back once again. So very unfortunate for him. There's a lot happening, as well as another situation we have here on track. We have this time a virtual safety car on track at lap 15. So we have one full safety car and now a virtual safety car, which means we have to drive after our delta. Usually it's 40% less throttle input, and just make sure that our time remains green, because if it's in red where we are driving too quickly, we would get a penalty, a drive-through penalty, and it would be much worse. But we are here very much in the green part, and now we have DRS straightaway back enabled, which is really important for us because we have no car in front of us, but we are back on racing. The most important question that we always had is, when is the rain coming? And you can see it already on the display on the left hand side and on the right hand side. There are the first raindrops. That was the moment for me where I tried to set intermediate tires and confirm as well with my engineer that, because it's going to be so important for us to be on the right tire when we box. We don't want to lose too much time. We don't want to box again. That would just cost us too much time. It didn't quite work with the headphone. You can also talk to your engineer via the headphone, and we decided to use the HUD and select the intermediate tires. You can see it is on the lower part, the intermediate tires, and the very first time we're going into the pit and trying to get a clean entry, but we spin.
Oh my god, mate.
How you feeling? Good one, team.
I had a big promise here.
Okay, be careful. We think you're going to start losing some tire grip anytime now.
Yeah, that is absolutely frustrating a situation. We had a very poor entry for the pit lane, had a very nice turn in point where you have to press the X button at the perfect moment, which we did. 2.2 seconds was estimated pit stop time. We released the throttle at exactly 2.2 as well, but on the exit I realized that we actually still have damage. We got some light green damage while touching the wall by the pit entry, and with the next clip you actually see when I realize it.
And I have wing damage as well, I think. I have to repair it. I'm not gonna lose anything.
Right, let's have
Hey, you might be forward as well later.
I might repair it now. But light green, I think it's gonna cost me too much.
Use forward now.
Absolutely, I have to go into the pit and change the front wing, quickly putting the repair wing damage on yes, because in the previous game sometimes they didn't repair it if you have only light green damage and you have the repair damage on automatic, but it's getting heavier and heavier, as you can see now as well on the exit once again, because the rain is getting worse and worse, so towards full wet tires.
Yosha's going on wet.
Yeah, people don't know it.
Aww.
Now stay out. Whatever happens.
It's too late now. Stay out, stay out, stay out! Oh, it's too fucking late!
Yeah.
Legend.
Absolute a big legend, and a big shout out to everybody who is now still watching. Thank you so much, and I'm very curious. Only the true Formula 1 fans are still watching here, and the true Formula 1 fans know as well who I was referring to with this little pun. If you know it, let me know down in the comments. And who do you think who it was? But we are back on the track, back racing, and it's so close. Look at all the cars around us. Tigrev has to catch the car once again, and him in the Red Bull is getting a slightly better exit, not because of the car but because of the car control that he had. And a very nice exit once again. We have full wet tires, evens. Joshua going actually on the right hand side, the arrow is getting red, and we are going on the inside defending. We can actually defend the turn and stay behind Tigrev. Now it is time for us to get used to the new condition, because this is extremely difficult now to stay on track and stay quick. Very scary situation, scary moments here. Ferg is actually slowing down so much. Tigrev is trying to go for something. I'm trying to go around the outside, but Tigrev has just a bit more exit speed, and I cannot do an overtake. And even Joshua is still behind us as well. So very close racing and dangerous. Tigrev is losing it almost as well as I do. I was able to catch it as well as my teammate ahead in the Red Bull, and we continue on the track, really struggling and fighting for our lives, literally, and absolutely on the edge, as you can see, in every single turn, pushing it to the maximum and having to do so many corrections. Once again, Tigrev has to do another correction. This race just got very interesting, as well as I have to do another catch on the exit. A sketchy track or turn, but ahead of us we get a little bit off track here. The AlphaTauri seem to struggle a little bit, and Leroy as well, who's struggling a little bit in the turning speed, which indicates for us that he might has some damage. Tigrev and myself, we are actually talking in the party. He muted himself, but so this is why you cannot hear him, but we were able to overtake him, and I have to do another catch, of course.
I need to change my pants as well.
Absolutely, with so many moments. I had like 4 moments every single lap. There was full sweat lobby, and it's not getting better any time soon. We are asking our engineer about the condition of the weather, because we feel that the wet tires behind has just so much more grip, so much more pace, and as well the other drivers were confirming that the wet tires are getting much faster. So what we do is we're going slightly defensive, because the car behind was just getting a little bit too close, so you can't do an easy overtaking move. We want to defend our position even if we are not on the front anymore. Even diving here very deep where we can't take the exit anymore. Getting a warning, which is our second warning. Very unfortunate.
Is it gonna dry up at the end, or?
No.
Okay, we can take you this lap.
now we make the call that we want to go into the pit. We want to be on the wet tires. Now is the perfect moment. Have to relay and on the pit entry go very deep once again, and we can't make the entry. We are speeding in the pit lane by 2 km/h while trying to change the tires on wet. It didn't work before, and I got a 5 seconds time penalty because of speeding in the pit lane. So unfortunate, so frustrating this race so far, but we keep it on track. We're not going to spin, we're not going to crash out, we're trying to do our absolute best, and these tires felt better straight away. Jumping ahead to lap number 25, and we have another safety car, and here begins the chaos.
What is this delta?
We have our delta, which is jumping up to 7 seconds. Normally you would have a delta where you need to decrease your throttle input, you need to slow down only by 40%. But this, as you can hear as well, our dear friend Seep, biggest greetings going out as well to Seep, my friend. Everybody is complaining about the 7 seconds because this is not normal. We need to have a normal delta, and this was ruining our
7 seconds.
This was ruining our race once again. 7 seconds, and we have to actually stop on track to get this delta down, because if we didn't, we get a drive through.
I got a drive through already, I'm fucked.
And our friend Seep actually got a drive through because he wasn't able to slow down on time. We have to stand on track, which is so bad for the tires. But not only us, everybody else also had to stand on track. You have 15 seconds time to get this delta down, and this is absolutely just extremely bad. It's so frustrating, and it's just very mentally exhausting for us. We're having a look at our tires.
51 degrees rears.
We're trying to warm up the tires, but of course you cannot warm them up if you're standing on track. So we are having very cold rear tires, and it is just getting worse and worse because we're getting another 7 seconds once again. And now watch the tire temperatures.
Man, I have to stand.
I got the
And another 7 seconds.
I'm at 60 as well.
I have 30.
Now you can see as well on the rear we have 30 degrees rear.
It's getting so shit.
As I was just complaining about the game.
I'm on wet, but I can't keep up because I keep getting 7 seconds delta out of nowhere.
It is so frustrating.
I have to stand on track. Same as with Leroy, we were both and now
We might have catch up.
Yeah, and then I spun, I lost my entire front wing, and I have to go into the pit once again. I have to go into the pit lane. I once again speeded. That is on me. Got another 5 seconds because I was trying to change the tire once again.
Oh, this is fun.
This race is just not working out for me at all. But we're now back on track. If you look down in the left side corner, we can actually see the track. I am at the end. We only have some cars who got lapped, and now is lap 29 out of 31. We have a car behind who is actually DNF'd, which is Nathan. So we are currently in P10, and yeah, the world is looking not too good. It's very frustrating, especially if you can't do anything about it. But luckily enough, we're reaching our final lap, our ultimate lap, just behind Evans, Joshua, and big shout out to him. He was slowing down for us on purpose because he was behind us when we first spun out in lap number, I think there was lap 6 or 7 after the safety car restart, getting extremely close here to him, trying to overtake.
Got damage or something.
But yeah, he's struggling as well.
Mate, he's so slow.
And just making a small mistake here, getting wide. I thought he's gonna go to the right hand side, but he's actually giving us a space. This is the last turn, and I'm doing a quick 360 for the fans. Woohoo! Which actually caused him to wait on track because he wanted to finish behind me,
Yeah, what a
giving the
shit
position
race.
back. So big shout out to him. This is where we finished P7 out of this
With
chaotic
himself,
race.
points.
Thank you
Well done,
everybody
us.
to sticking with me until the
Okay.
very end,
Good point.
and it has been a pleasure to race for you once again. Big shout out. Here you can see once again how many times we pitted. Big shout out. This is your Steiny, over and out.